Well, good morning. It is really great to be here. I was sharing with Mary Lou that this conference not only I feel like is really well organized, but it's been so much fun hearing from a lot of different types of healthcare providers, from MDs, DOs, naturopaths, chiropractors, nurse practitioners. So what we're going to share today is going to be applicable really for all of you. I know we've got two men in the room now, so don't be scared with the Lady Doc marketing book. This is going to be applicable for men and women. We do actually have our new book coming out in a couple weeks that's going to be for naturopaths and integrative medicine doctors, so we will make sure to get you guys that as well. But today we're going to be talking about a 2024 marketing plan for integrative medicine. And I think this is extremely important because it really does take a unique approach to tell the world about your services. It takes more than an Instagram post. It takes more than, having a good website. And one of the things that I think is also really important is just being mindful of people's budget, because you also are business owners and you need to be mindful of spending your marketing in a budget-friendly and the way that's going to give you the best ROI. So we're going to share with you today some really budget-friendly marketing strategies that you can start implementing as soon as tomorrow. Just a little bit about myself. I'm the founder of Medical Marketing Whiz. I'm also a member of NAMS, which used to be called NAMS. Now it's called the Menopause Society. We are a corporate partner for the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. I'm also a member of the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health. I actually serve on their social media committee, so if you follow them and you see some of their posts, those are some of the things that we help them with. I've been a Forbes contributor. My previous life, I was a territory manager for Hologic, which those of you in women's health know this is one of the largest women's health companies. I spent about 9 years in the operating room doing NovaSure endometrial ablations and MyoSure, so been in the surgical side of things, and also really honestly just been in thousands and thousands of doctors' offices. I'm a speaker for Candela, Thermi, Gynesonics, Cytime, Dominion Aesthetics, and Ceneva, just to name a few. And then there's my contact information. So just to tell you a little bit about us, our goal, so this is Sherry. We like to say I'm Batman, she's Robin, or I'm Batgirl and she's Catgirl. She is really honestly my everything at Medical Marketing Whiz. She's been with me since the beginning. But our passion is really, it's bigger than just marketing practices. Our passion is helping patients actually find the right doctors. This is a way that we can amplify to the world, not only advancements in healthcare, but helping people connect to the doctors that can truly solve their problems, doctors that will listen to them, doctors that are advanced in medicine and providing those solutions. So we really only work with a very niche set of doctors. That may be integrative medicine, functional medicine, and then we do work with a lot of women's health, so gynecologists and urogynecologists. And our whole team, I'm proud to say, we're a woman-led company. We have all women that work for us. And I think that's important because everything that we recommend is through the lens of, would this resonate with me? How do I go about making healthcare decisions? How do I go about, and not only for myself, right? My husband wouldn't go to the doctor or the dentist probably if I didn't make an appointment for him. And same thing with my parents. So even if you're treating both men and women, you need to know how to reach women, because ultimately we're the ones that are making a lot of the healthcare decisions. And then I also like to say, we are your patient. I went through menopause at 41, and my gynecologist didn't talk to me about it. I think she just thought, well, Lori's in her early 40s, and this is just, honestly, we never even had the conversation. And it took me about a year. I actually got introduced to this functional medicine doctor, believe it or not, through my dentist. And it really, you got to get in this mindset of, this isn't covered by insurance. Do I want to invest in this? So it's a long buying process. And I will tell you that it's changed my life. And I'm on bioidentical hormones. I also go to a naturopath as well. So it was kind of fun to see some of the supplement folks out there because I take their magnesium and all of their different supplements, but it's really changed my life. And so part again of the mission is I just want people to know about these solutions. And personally, I've sent 28 of my friends to my functional medicine doctor. So one patient can make a huge impact. And so I just share that because I think it's important to understand like our mission is bigger than just like getting doctors to hire us for marketing, right? It's just our way to kind of spread that into the world. So what we're going to go over today, first I do like to talk about a little bit, and this is women's health provider. Again, this could be integrative medicine provider. It could be naturopathic physician. It could be nurse practitioner. But how do patients actually choose a doctor? Then we're going to talk about Google Business. Google Business is a way that you can get ranked for free in your local area. So I'm going to show you how to optimize your Google profile, somewhere people can find you. And then we're going to talk about some patient education marketing strategies, because again, I am of the belief that what works in aesthetics, what a lot of marketing agencies are like, oh, just run these Facebook ads, for your cool sculpting or laser hair removal, and that might work really great for that. It does not work for integrative medicine and women's health. So we're going to talk about patient education focused marketing, how you can use social media, how you can use email marketing, how to host webinars and events, and also even how to get on someone's podcast or even host your own podcast. And then we'll lay out a simple 12-month marketing strategy for you. And then we always have a couple of little fun gifts at the end, including, okay, you guys got to stop by our booth because we are giving away an actual real Louis Vuitton bag. So make sure you come by booth 24 so you can get in that.
Get scanned.
Get scanned.
That is brilliant marketing.
So,
Brilliant marketing.
everyone loves that. Although it was funny, Sherry and I, there's a vendor that's just down the hallway and he's from Paris. And he came by and he was like, that's very basic.
Very basic.
We're like, well, where we're from, it's cool. So anyways. To each their own, yes.
It's basic.
We're like, it's not here. Anyhow, so the main thing is there's so many things you can do for marketing, right? And it can be overwhelming, and it's one of those things where you don't have to do everything. Like, do I need to open up a TikTok? Do I need to have, a personal profile and a business profile? And, it just gets really, really confusing. So, and then ultimately you don't have an unlimited budget either, right? Like you've got to make sure that you're being cost effective and also effective with your time. And so I want to just talk a little bit about the evolution of marketing. A lot of folks will say, hey, if I'm a good doctor, I shouldn't have to market myself. Like, I'm a great doctor, that's all I need. Or they'll say, well, I get all my patients from word of mouth. That is awesome. That is the word of mouth is king. But do you just want to rely on word of mouth for people to find you? A lot of folks also, they've never Googled themselves. And they just kind of think everybody's happy with their experience. Or they just got their website redone, which is a huge project in and of itself. And they think, all right, cool. I've got my new website. I'm good for the next 3 to 5 years. Posters, brochures, flyers around the office. They're doing some social media posting. They might even be paying someone to craft some really pretty social media posts. And ultimately what I hear people say is they get leads, but they don't actually turn into patients. And then it becomes extremely frustrating. And quite honestly, I feel like by the time they talk to us, it's like the third marketing company they've been through because they've really just been burned. And it's unfortunate. So what I want you to kind of shift your thinking about is word of mouth is still king, but you can't forget that these people still have to Google you to get your phone number. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to what people see, and you want your online presence to reflect the quality of care that you offer. So if your website is all kind of like stock photos and stuff, does that really help people get to know you? And then education-based marketing. So I don't even really want you to think of this as marketing. I want you to think of this as if I'm the best at educating my patients and my community, I ultimately become the best at marketing. And then you're doing it in a very authentic way. And then again, kind of like what I explained my mission is to help more people find great doctors. By being great at marketing and educating your community, you're able to really contribute to the wellness of your entire community. So I think that's actually really cool. All right, so what we're gonna talk about is just a super simple marketing plan. And these are really the 4 things that you want to do, and you're just gonna do these 4 things every single quarter. It's as simple as that. So outside of your website, you want to obviously have a presence on social media, but remember that the presence on social media is awareness and branding. It is not always patient acquisition. So you want to have a presence on Facebook and Instagram, and then the forgotten but very powerful other platform is LinkedIn. There is a lot of professional women and men on LinkedIn. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about your local search engine optimization, and I'm also kind of throwing in that bucket your reputation management, building up a lot of Google reviews. Then every month, you want to do some sort of email blast to your list, and we'll talk about some simple ways to do that. And then the key to it all is a quarterly event, webinar, or podcast. This is the conversion mechanism. This is a lot of times when I talk to people, what are you doing for marketing? And they're like, oh, we used to do events, pre-COVID, or I used to do webinars, or I've been on a webinar. They're just not doing it consistently. This is the thing that actually will turn your leads into patients. This will also help your existing patients that might be coming to you. Maybe they're just coming to you for hormone therapy. They don't know you have a gut health program. They don't know that you have a weight loss program. So you want to not forget those folks that are already on your list and are already patients. And the beauty of these things that we'll go over today is that they will really work for anything that you offer. So whether you're doing hormones, or you're doing sexual health, or gut health, or weight loss, or you do some aesthetics, I know you've got some medical spa sort of services at your practice, it will really work for any of these sort of things. So kind of before we dive into the details, I do want to kind of take a step back and just think about how do people go about choosing a doctor. So again, we mentioned friends and family. I know for me, I will pretty much, ask my friends, hey, where do you go? I need, I see that you're feeling really, really great. You're the only friend I have that isn't completely losing it during menopause. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, that's a whole nother story we could talk about, right? But anyhow, they're going to ask their friends and family. They may also, maybe they get a referral from another doctor. The other thing that you'll see is Facebook groups. So when new people move to a new area, they'll join like a little community Facebook group. So like where I live in Canton, Michigan. You guys can probably tell from my accent that I'm from the Midwest. But when I moved to Canton, we joined a Facebook group because I didn't really know anybody. And there's about 27,000 people in this Facebook group. And you will see constantly, people will post, I need a new dentist, I need a new pediatrician. Hey, I'm looking for an alternative medicine provider. And then boom, everybody's commenting, go here, this doctor's great, right? And you want to be the person that everybody is recommending. But then what are they going to do? They still are going to go to Google to look you up because they want to feel like they're making their own decision. And so they're going to go to Google and they are going to read your reviews. So number one, you want to make sure you show up on Google, and then you want to make sure you've got a lot of reviews, because if they go to your profile and hey, you got 5 stars, but you've got like 3 reviews, it sort of looks like no one goes there. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. And ultimately what they're looking for in this research is they're looking for validation that you're the expert in the thing that they have an issue with. And you almost want them to kind of borderline get a little angry, kind of like I did. Like, well, why wasn't my doctor talking to me about these things? Like, thank God there's somebody in my area that is specializing in this specific problem. And then they also want to know your communication style. They may not learn that until they meet you, but there's things you can do where they can sort of feel like they've already met you before they've met you by using some of these online strategies. And I thought this was an interesting stat I was sharing with the beautiful ladies here up at the front, that a couple of weekends ago I spoke at the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology regional meeting, and I was doing some research for that talk, and I came across this statistic, and I thought it was really, really important to remember, is that even when somebody gets a referral, from their doctor, from another doctor. These days, people, they want to do their own validation that, like, I agree with who my doctor recommended. So 92% of patients say that they are always or sometimes conduct their own research to validate that recommendation. So again, super important to be paying attention. So what do people see when they look you up? What they're looking for is authority and credibility. So one of the first things that you want to keep in mind is that 75% of people that go to your website will leave if you do not have authority and credibility listed on your website. And I'll go through a few of the examples to kind of show you what I'm talking about. But adding social proof. So for example, you are part of A4M. You are part of the Institute for Functional Medicine. You are a board certified family practice doctor. Those symbols need to be on the homepage of your website and in everything you do. It adds credibility. You don't want this hidden in your bio on page 3 of your website, like in this small text that nobody's even reading. So make sure these things are front and center, and you will see that you can increase the conversions of appointments on your website by up to 48% like that. And that's just adding that authority and credibility. So another way to really add credibility is making sure that you're optimized on Google. And one of the things that a lot of folks don't realize is your Google business profile is actually free. Search engine optimization companies and marketing companies will charge you an arm and a leg for SEO, right? And they're SEOing your website and they haven't even claimed your Google profile. And they don't tell you that because you can actually do this for free for yourself, right? So what a Google business profile is, it's the #1 local business listing anywhere about your practice. It's going to show up in Google search and Google Maps, and it's going to show up above the #1 ranked website. It's a core, probably the most important piece of search engine optimization. So your website guy or gal up here is doing your traditional SEO in the corner. They're making sure you've got the tags correct on your page, and they're making sure that you've got the keywords and everything on your website itself. But Google Business is really the whale when it comes to search engine optimization. So how do you optimize your profile? First thing, you got to claim your listings. Yes.
Can I just interject something?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I had somebody, I didn't know if it was a scam, but I thought it was Google, and I listened to what they had to say, and oh, you gotta get your license, get everything up on Google for reviews and so forth, but they wanted to charge me like $250
No.
a year.
Yeah.
Is that a scam?
I mean, they probably would. I get those sort of calls too, even myself. And I'm like, my Google profile's claimed I don't need your help. But I mean, I don't know. Sometimes those sort of things are like even robocalls where they'll call you and say like, your profile isn't optimized on Google. Call 1-800 blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah. Yeah.
Hang on, let me get you to.
The issue too, though, with those sort of things is that they claim your profile and they do the back end work that I'm going to show you right now. But then they don't actually make you owner of your own profile. And so that's a problem. The other thing we'll see is 3 office managers ago did this. She doesn't work for you anymore. You guys are in a fight, and now you can't get control of your Google profile, and it just, or we'll see this like Patient Pop, which is this, don't even get me started, not great website company that a lot of doctors use. And they own everybody's Google profile. And then if you stop using Patient Pop for your website, they're basically holding this thing hostage. So this is so easy for you to do. So first thing after today, you're going to Google yourself. You're going to make sure that there's usually a little link underneath that says own this business. So just claim that. It'll send you an email. Sometimes you have to send them like a code. Sometimes you have to send a letter or a postcard in the mail. But it gives you this little like secret code to claim
and
it.
actually now they've updated, so sometimes you may have to take a video.
You have to video.
Yeah, so you'll have
Yeah.
to do your video and show the address and like walk in the building, like unlock the door to show you're the owner.
Yeah.
But they make it fairly easy. We had a client that just had to do that to claim her listing, and it took like no time. Like they send you a little link to do it, and so it sounds like a headache, but it's not horrible.
Yeah.
For an online.
I would still have
yeah.
still have a Google profile.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about
Well, I'm
that
just
this
thinking of
morning
how to claim
about
a
like the
virtual.
telehealth offices. So for example, I think it would be similar to like how I've claimed our profile because we work with clinics across the United States and Canada. So I don't want my profile to be Canton, Michigan. So you can make your profile and there's a section of this that'll say like online care and you can even put your telehealth link in there. And then that way what I did was I put my cities as I picked 4 corners of the United States. So that way, when you pull up like Medical Marketing Whiz, it's showing the whole entire United States. So even if you're online, I would still make sure you have a profile because if you don't have a profile, like where are your reviews going to be? You don't want them to be on like realpatientratings.com that nobody even goes to.
So how do you create that if you don't have an actual business? When I Google my online practice, there's nothing that shows up.
Yeah, so I'll sit down with you after this and I'll help you.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Sorry, just one more quick question.
Yes.
On this, I mean to interrupt, but last I checked, there has been no drop down for functional medicine.
No.
Oh, yeah, no.
There's no,
Make sure there's nothing I'm missing.
no, you're not. So, yeah, and it's kind of annoying because you have to, some people don't want to call themselves holistic health or
Right.
alternative medicine, but those are the terms that people search for. So that's why Google, but they do always add additional categories. So a month from now, functional medicine could be one of the categories.
In 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's another key point too, is that they're constantly adding different things, so you need to stay on top of it. So like every few weeks, hop in there and see, and they'll delete services sometimes. So every couple weeks, go in there and make sure your attributes are still in there and they haven't added new ones, because they just recently added a couple. And then make sure your services are still in there.
Yep.
So,
Reviews, like when people say best functional medicine doctor, they like use those words.
Yes.
That does get grabbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Searches.
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I just want to make sure we're not missing
and
Yes.
even though you can't have the drop down of it, you can add functional medicine or integrative medicine into those keywords in your descriptions, in your services. So then Google's still picking up those keywords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. You guys are like advanced here. I'm loving it. Okay. So yeah, like Sherry said, over on the right here, this is adding all of your different services that you offer. You also know, and I don't know how well you can see this because I know this is kind of small, but in the business category, you can have up to 9 categories. So for example, let's say you're a medical spa, you can have medical spa skincare clinic, you can have nurse practitioner, you can have laser hair removal clinic. And so you'll see here, the doctor has naturopathic practitioner, doctor, wellness center, biofeedback therapist, holistic medicine, and alternative medicine. So you can have up to 9 categories.
And that too, sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt,
Go for
but
it.
although you can do 9 categories, I would stick to around like 5 or 6 because you don't want to dilute your primaries.
Yep.
So don't go crazy and just put everything in there. Like make sure it's relevant and then stick to around like 5 or 6. Like don't go crazy.
Yes. And then at the bottom here, from this business. So I see a lot of women in here. So women-led business. You can be Asian-owned business, Latina-owned business, or Latino, veteran-owned business. So those attributes, Google actually gives you a little bit of a boost in your search engine optimization. So make sure in the from the business section that you have yourself listed as any of those that would be applicable. Yes.
We've already done it in the past. Can we go back and edit?
Yes, yes. And that's kind of like what Sherry was saying is you do kind of need to go in there. And that's the other reason why you don't want to just like have somebody claim it and like think it's good, because they do add extra attributes and things like that constantly. So just, once a month, go in there and just sort of check.
Well,
and
I
you'll
mean-
just do that through your Gmail email.
Yeah, and they do kind of track if you're active in it.
Yes.
So even if you're not, just change one little thing. So just go in there periodically, and I would say a few times a month, just change a little thing in there.
Do you go to Google My Business again, or what do you go to?
Yeah, you
So
go
it's
to Google My
business.go-
Business.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
then you just, go through and edit a little thing or add a photo.
Add
Actually
photos.
would be adding
Like
photos.
honestly, if you're telehealth, I would do like some personal photos of you, maybe like at the computer doing a Zoom meeting or, videos and things like that. And if you have an actual physical location, pictures of your entire office. I'm telling you, even pictures of your bathroom. You put them on Google, because the more photos you have, the more Google, because if you think about it, what is Google trying to do when someone's searching? They're trying to give that person the most relevant result of what that person is searching for. So if there's a business that has a lot of photos, if there's a business that has a completed profile, if there's a business that has a lot of reviews, it tells Google this is a good result to give this person. So you want to add photos to your listing also. And then this is just really important, is just, all of you have gone to school for a long time. You've come here for additional training. You've spent a lot to really make your practice what it is. One person can screw it up for you, right? So you just want to make sure that you're paying attention and you're asking the happy people to leave reviews. Now, I feel like in integrative medicine, this is actually really exciting, because you are making people feel better. You are making people healthier. You are helping people on their health journey. Most of those people are pretty happy, right? I think, as opposed to like if they're going to a, traditional doctor and they've got all these ailments and they're just kind of like, oh, take these prescriptions, and they don't really feel any better. So ask those people to leave you a review. And you can do some fun things, like you don't want to pay people for reviews, but you could do something like, a fun little drawing. In the month of February, anyone that leaves me a Google review, we're going to do a drawing for whatever it may be, right? So you can make it fun and reward them. Everybody knows how to use a QR code now after COVID. Have a simple little QR code. Again, if you've claimed your Google listing, you can get a link right straight to your Google reviews that you can use with a QR code, and then people just scan it with their phone. It goes right straight to your reviews. Google reviews are the most important. I had a call last week with a doctor that had 600 and some reviews on realpatientratings.com. Nobody goes to that to choose a doctor. And I think they had like 5 reviews on Google. So ultimately, you want them to leave their reviews on Google. The problem is that if you have a Yahoo or AOL or one of these Hotmail email addresses, you cannot leave a Google review. So you want to have a couple of secondary options for people. So Facebook recommendations are a good place for people to leave reviews. Google does index those. Yelp, I sort of have a love-hate relationship with, but it is linked to Apple Maps. So you kind of do want to make sure that you have some reviews on Yelp and that you've optimized that profile as well.
And to pick which secondary one you have, it's a lot of location too. So make sure you're looking, because West Coast, what's popular for reviews on West Coast is usually Yelp.
Yep.
And then what's popular on the East Coast is different. So make sure you're looking and finding out which one is the popular review site in your area, and then be active on that one.
Yep. Great point.
Question?
Yes.
I've used the QR codes for everything, but I don't know how to generate one. How do you?
There's apps, so you can download QR code apps, and they're usually free.
Yeah, or just Google free QR code generator.
Yeah.
Canva also has an app. For those of you who are big fans of Canva, Canva has a little app inside of it for free, where you can just put the URL in and it'll generate a QR code for you. So I love the engagement. I'm really excited about it. You guys are asking great questions. And then just have a system for getting new reviews. It could be a QR code. It could be, there's some different software that's out there. We work with a company called Rater 8, which they will integrate right with your EMR. So there's different ways to do it, but the point is just make sure you're asking for reviews and you're monitoring them and responding to them. And then previously I talked a little bit about leveraging your awards and credentials. So take an inventory, your board certifications, any top doc awards that you have. What are your affiliations? Are they, part of A4M? Are you part of WorldLink Medical? Local awards, are you a center of excellence? Like some of the different companies will make you like a center of excellence, and then your 5-star reviews. So I threw a few examples here down at the bottom, but these need to be on the home page of your website, preferably above the fold. Like as soon as they come into your website, these are front and center. These are these credibility symbols that will really help to convert people and position you as that authority. And then, of course, even just, your 5-star Google. So there's a lot of different ones that you can use. One of the other things, we actually, we work with the Best Doctors Women's Choice Award. And what I like about this award is it's not one of these BS awards where you just kind of like pay and you win. They actually credential the doctor. So, and then ultimately they also now do have nurse practitioners as one of their categories that you can apply for. So they have some criteria. You have to have a certain number of reviews. You have to have been in practice for at least 7 years. You can't have any like major lawsuits or anything on your medical license. And then you can earn this designation. And one of the things we do is we take out a full page in USA Today every quarter, and we get these doctors featured in USA Today. So that has 2.2 million readers in print and digital every single week. And again, then your website says, as seen in USA Today. So that's something, again, there's a lot of different award companies that you can work with, but this is just to give you an example. And then last, I just want to talk about education-based marketing. And I love this quote by Steve Jobs, who is a genius in marketing, but ultimately it is just about educating your patients and your community. And so email marketing isn't as fun and exciting as social media, but people don't realize that email marketing has a higher conversion rate than both social media and search combined. The other thing is you own this list. You can have, it doesn't impress me if someone has 20,000 Instagram followers. First of all, I don't know if all those people are local. If it's more of like, to me, it is sort of like a vanity metric. Like, it's great to have a lot of followers, but you don't know those people's contact information. And you could post one wrong thing on social media that like violates their policy, and boom, your page is shut down. So email marketing, you own that list. And it is the key to nurturing your leads. So you can get people from social media, get new people on your list, and then you're staying in touch with them and just giving them really helpful information. So practices that excel at lead nurturing using email will generate 50% more sales-ready leads at a 33% lower cost. So one of the things that you can do is just like a simple monthly email newsletter. Every month is a health month, right? So like we have American Heart Month right now. So there's a lot of different things that you can weave into integrative medicine and heart health as an example. So this is just one of them that we did a few months back. September was Menopause Awareness Month, so we had a little segment about that. They're doing a little breakout on gut health. They've got their event coming up, and they're doing a menopause makeover, which we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Healthy recipes are great to have in a newsletter because they get a lot of clicks. It's just like social media. You need engagement for it to actually work. If you don't have people clicking on stuff in your newsletter, it's going right straight to the spam folder, and nobody is reading it. So a recipe is a great thing to add, and you'll be surprised. People will tell you they made this like watermelon feta cucumber salad for their family reunion.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it is. It is actually good. It is actually good. And then, of course, again, ask for reviews, right? So you can highlight some of those things in your monthly newsletter. You had a question. Yes.
Ask permission for them to be on the email blast?
So because it is an educational newsletter versus sending out, like a lot of med spas, I'll see you'll send out specials. If it's specials, that's really very marketing, and you technically need to have their permission. Whereas if it's more of an educational newsletter, typically you can download the list from your EMR as long as in the footer you have an unsubscribe button where they can actually opt out, then you're fine. Text is another thing that, of course, has a much higher open rate than email, but text is more intrusive and there's more rules about what you can send in a text message. So email is still king when it comes to this lead nurturing.
Yeah, and I'll say be careful too, though, because we actually, our email system that we send emails out for our clients, we are HIPAA compliant. So
Yeah.
we have the little integration in there to make us HIPAA compliant.
Yes.
So you have to just make sure you're staying in those.
Yeah, like some of the like MailChimp and Constant Contact, like
Yeah.
technically those are not HIPAA compliant platforms.
Yeah, you want to be in something where the information of your client can't be
What about Kajabi?
I know about Kajabi. I personally, we don't have any clients that are using it, so I'm not 100% sure if that one's HIPAA compliant, but I know a lot of doctors use it, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Yeah.
Somebody
you can do like email blast.
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
And it's HIPAA compliant.
Yeah.
All their HPI is like in there, and they have the option to opt out. We actually took it one step further and developed an app specifically with Servo. So it's nice because it's like on their smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
and that's super helpful.
Yeah, EMRs
Servo
would
has an app
typically be.
now? I'm sorry, did you say Servo has
No,
an app now?
we developed an app that talks to Servo, and that's how we do it.
Your medical practice created that app? Got it, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah, the only other thing that I would just mention about email marketing, and we could probably have a whole talk just on email marketing, is the only reason why I wouldn't recommend that is because you want to have a dedicated domain to send your emails from. If it's sending from your real domain, so for example, my domain is medicalmarketingwhiz.com. If you get email blasts from me, it's coming from medmarketingwhiz.com. It's not my actual real email. And I use that specifically for the e-blast that I'm going to like 30,000 people. If you start email blasting out from your real domain, the risk is if you get a high unsubscribe or a high spam rate, it can blacklist your real domain. So it's better to have a similar domain that you're using specifically for email, because you don't want people to not get their appointment reminders or not get their lab results, which is going to be coming from your real domain. So that's just, again, kind of a email marketing 201, but that's just something to keep in mind.
Just a quick
Yeah.
question. I just have an online practice of group programs and things like that. But my question is, so I don't have my regular email, because I'll get millions of emails back, but I have, it goes to support.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not a problem. That
So what I'm saying is like, okay, so let's say your from email is support at whatever your domain is, whatever your practice is. You're sending from the practice email. So whether it's support, contact,
doesn't matter.
so you want another domain, which you can buy these on GoDaddy for like $5. It's very cheap. And have a dedicated domain for your email sending.
And the domain is what comes after the at.
Yes.
So it's whatever in front at, and then that's your domain. So, and then, yeah, like we set up domains for our clients that are not their actual domain, and then we warm it up for a while. Because if you're just blasting it out all at once, you're
Yeah.
gonna get dinged. And then, so we warm it up because we want to reduce that risk of things going to spam. So you don't want to blast everything out at once. You want to batch
Drip it.
out.
Drip it. Yeah, you don't want to send 5,000 emails at one
You
time,
want to do like
or you'll be in
100
the
an
spam
hour,
folder.
or you want to drip.
MailChimp gives you that.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah, they do.
exactly.
Yeah,
Drip it out, like 100 an hour.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, so to what you're saying, warming it up, so this is the challenge, like, we've been using Dr. Jessica Miller,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm explaining to the receptionist, like, she can't be texting people because when we email people from our email,
Mm-hmm.
they open it, and then my understanding is, when we send a newsletter, now that they've opened previous emails from us, that's what you're talking
Yes,
about.
Yes.
you got it.
Yes, exactly.
So I keep trying
Yes.
to tell her, but now it's counterintuitive to what you're saying, because I've been directing us to use that same email to email patients about things, but now you're saying make sure you use a separate email.
So you might be okay, right? Because yours sounds like it's already warmed up and you've already gotten enough replies. So you probably have a good reputation in that domain. So you can also just like search for like Google search like domain health, and then you just put your domain in and it'll tell you. If you're if you're like blacklisted, it'll tell you that. So you've had enough replies back and forth that yours is probably good.
So we just overhauled the branding on all the emails.
Yeah.
Start from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now, I would slowly,
So do it from the admin at or support at futureifm.com and have that be the, I'll talk to you after.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards. Awesome. All right, cool. We want to move on here and get through, but I love the questions. I love the engagement. So social media, the point of social media is it's social, right? It's called social media. It's not called stock photo media. It's not called hire a girl at the front desk and put my logo on every single picture media. That's not what it is. Putting your logo on every single picture and color coding it does not make the phone ring. It causes a lot of time, and it's not actually a way to acquire patients. So the way to do it is to actually make your social media social. One way, we talked about the awards. So this is just an example of where we're posting about this doctor earning the award. He's got 48 comments. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, amazing doctor. I love, this is my doctor. Okay, so what that does is, number one, it gives credibility to this doctor. If a new person comes to the page, this is pinned at the top. They see that a lot of people like this doctor and respect this doctor. But also what it does is the algorithms of social media are all about engagement. So if you're not getting comments, if you're not getting video views, and you're just posting and you've got, 3,000 people on there and you have like one like, the algorithm is saying, oh God, people think this page is boring. We're not going to send it. We're not going to show this to any more people. So you think, okay, cool. I've got, 2,000 followers on Instagram. When I post something, 2,000 people see it. No, they don't. It's a very small percentage. So you want to get people to comment on things. So things like awards, things like recognizing an employee of the month, employees' birthdays, work anniversaries, a little doctor bio. These are things that get comments. And those things, so like you're going to post, let's say we post Dr. Atala here. Dr. Atala has a webinar that we're going to be launching the next day. So we're posting this the day before because we know it's going to get a lot of comments. So then when we post about the webinar, the algorithm says, let's show that webinar post to people because we know people are engaging with their page. So it's all about engagement. And again, you can really get your staff involved and they want to feel appreciated too. So just use social media and be social. The other thing too, I want to highlight before I go to the next slide is just don't expect people to engage with your page if you're not engaging with anyone else's page. Like if you're like, well, no, but I'm paying this person to do marketing and I don't see any likes. I don't see any likes on my post. And I'm like, okay, well, how many of your followers have you gone on their profile and liked and commented on what they're doing? So you can't expect engagement if you're not also being engaging. So you can follow doctors that refer to you. So go to their profile, follow them on social media, local influencers. So I'm always a big fan of a local influencer that you can always follow is your local TV newscaster. They have local followers. So follow them, follow health food stores, photographers. Like these are people that are involved in your community that also have those type of people in their world that would potentially come to your office. So just be engaging if you want to expect people to engage with you.
And I would say don't get discouraged when you go on if you see like 1 like or 3 likes, because engagement doesn't necessarily mean the like or the love or the comment. If they click on it to open it bigger, that's an engagement.
Yes.
So look at the back end. The back end in your analytics will tell you the actual engagement on your page. So don't get discouraged if you just see like a couple likes, like it's not blowing up. Look at the backside and see the actual engagement. Are people clicking on it? Are they, doing some sort of action?
So just to clarify, because I don't think I follow anybody. To follow someone, you're on Instagram or Facebook or Google. You follow
Yep.
them.
Yep. So you're going
So
to
Google you wouldn't follow, but Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Okay.
So you would just go to, for example, like I mentioned, any of these other businesses, and you're just going to follow their page. And then what happens is they get a notice that you're following them, and then they follow you back.
Okay.
So, and then, just having a little bit of engagement there.
Okay.
So, and then the cool thing is you can actually look at who their followers are, and you can follow their followers. So I'll show you. I'll give you a little tutorial afterwards. Okay, cool. All right, so last section here is just the quarterly events and webinars. And these really achieve 3 things. Number 1, you get your name out there. You get your name in the community as a thought leader. You get immediate sales and ROI. So there will be people that will come to these events or come to your webinars, and they're like, finally, somebody that can answer my problem. Finally, somebody that gets what I'm going through. I'm ready to make that appointment. And then you have a pipeline, right? So there's people that come to these things that maybe watch your webinar or attend your event. They're not quite ready then, but now they're on your email list. They've met you. And they're going to continue to have these health problems. And you're going to be top of mind when they're ready to make that appointment. Marketers identify webinars as an effective source of quality leads, second only to in-person events at 77%. So events will always outperform webinars because people are physically there. Kind of like if somebody's trying to sell you a car, if that guy can get you behind the wheel, he's going to be a lot more likely to sell you that car than if you're just looking at it online. So those events and webinars are really, really important. These are just a few ideas. These are actual real events that we have done for some of our integrative medicine clients. So any sort of like de-stressing, mental health, those are really, really great topics. Anything menopause. You don't have to do mimosas in menopause. You could do mocktails in menopause. But I will tell you, the menopause talk on Saturday morning, like 11 to 1, you will get so many people that will come to this thing. And it's a really, really great way to kind of make it fun, right? Like you can talk about sexual wellness, you can talk about urinary incontinence, these things that are kind of embarrassing for people, but you just make it under the pretense of menopause. And then of course, like there's an example here about just like fatigue. Webinars, again, what I love about webinars, I personally do a webinar every single month. It's a great way to be positioned as that local expert. It builds a list of interested patients. It's the fastest way to educate and generate appointments. So especially if you have equipment that you've invested in, you know, these things are, you know, sometimes $50, $100, $200,000. You need to be able to get appointments quickly. So this is a way for you to pre-record something too. People don't have to be available on Thursday at 7 p.m. for your event. They can watch it at 8 a.m., lunch, weekend, whatever's convenient for them. You record it one time, and then it's just going to be an around-the-clock sort of marketing tool. A webinar, though, is not record a video and put it on YouTube because you don't know who's watching it. You want it to be gated. So meaning there's a registration page where people have to register so you know who's actually watching this webinar. It also saves you a lot of time. So let's say you have that initial appointment with somebody and they want some more information. You can say, hey, you know what? On my hormone page, I actually did an entire webinar on women's hormones and they can watch it. And then by the time they come to you, they're already much more educated on what their different treatment options are. The other thing is it is not restricted by Meta or Google. So we have a lot of doctors that are doing like weight loss programs, and that's really, really tricky to get approved on Google. We have doctors that do, and I know some people don't like this word, but vaginal rejuvenation, so intimate wellness. That's another one of those things, like if you put like Mona Lisa laser on your social media and try to boost that post, you'll get nope. However, you can talk about menopause and you can talk about a lot of what your webinar is about. They're not actually ever going to watch the video. Meta and Google aren't going to watch the video. You can talk about whatever you want on the video. So that's what's also really nice is you can get creative on how to kind of get the word out about some of these kind of more taboo subjects, and you can get those approved if you want to run ads. It ultimately is a patient education and attraction tool. So these, again, whether you're doing a webinar or you're doing an event, just some different topic ideas. Again, anything menopause, women, weight, and menopause, why you're fatigued in menopause, why you have a menopause belly. It definitely attracts a lot of people. Gut health, urinary incontinence, weight management. We do one that's called like the Girlfriend's Guide to Integrative Wellness. Like that's another really good one that people tend to, and then erectile dysfunction webinars do quite well too. It was called Below the Belt. So, you know, people kind of understand what that's all about. But again, it's a great way to kind of like get past some of the restrictions on Facebook and Google and still be able to do an educational talk.
What was that one, Girlfriend's Guide?
Like Girlfriend's Guide to Integrative Health.
And then in there you can do like your toolkit. So what's the toolkit you need? You need this, and this to. Yeah. All right. And for us, like we have a lot of these decks done. So part of what we do is we help the provider like craft, you know, so their PowerPoint looks nice, and then we record these and edit them. We build a landing page.
people actually watch the webinar, and then there's email follow-up. So this is where that email comes back in again, making sure that your email marketing system can do automated follow-ups, because they could register for your webinar and then their spaghetti's boiling over on the stove and they're like, oh crap, so they leave and they go over there and then they miss the rest of the webinar. So you want them to be able to get a replay of it. They may end up, maybe they watch it and they're like, okay, this is going to not be paid by insurance. They got to talk to their husband about it. No, their husband can watch the webinar and learn everything about it, and then they're ready to move forward. So you want to have a landing page. You want to have a way to capture name, address, and phone number. People can watch it, and then ultimately they follow up with email marketing. And then I do want to touch a little bit on podcasting, because this is probably the biggest thing in healthcare marketing right now, is podcasting. Nobody listens to the radio anymore, right? Like, we're listening to Spotify. My daughter laughs. My husband still listens to Pandora. I think he's like the only person on the planet that listens to Pandora still. But yes, there's some people that listen to that. But Pandora does have a podcast as well. So, Apple, what are busy women doing? They pop the earbuds in, they're folding laundry, they're going on their walk, they're on the treadmill, they're at the gym. They're listening to podcasts. Podcasts also tend to be higher educated, higher income people. So that webinar that you record, we strip the audio of that, it becomes a podcast episode. It's no extra work for you, really. So we actually have a podcast on Apple and Google and Spotify called Top Docs. And so this is kind of a nice way for people to get their feet wet with podcasting. If they want to just do one episode, we will get their episode, and then we give them the links. And hey, Dr. Smith is as seen on the Top Docs podcast on Apple, Spotify, and then their patients can listen. And then we have some really, really ambitious, exciting doctors that want their own podcast. So we actually help them develop their own podcast. We get them set up with their first 3 episodes. We teach them how to use Spotify for podcasters, and they're on their way. So it's actually very simple once you get kind of that foundational legwork done. But this, again, is another way to really elevate you as an authority by having a podcast.
What about putting a video version on YouTube?
Yeah, yes. And yes, 100%. And I love the question. So YouTube, remember, is owned by Google. So the more videos that you have on YouTube, it does help you rank on Google too. So why not? I mean, anything you can do that you can multi-purpose, you might as well. As far as getting the word out for these things, you want to make sure that you've got a flyer with a QR code, you've got email marketing, you've created an event on Facebook, you're posting about it on social media, you've got a link on your website. Eventbrite, free place to put events and webinars. You will get leads on this. Like, we'll get 8-10 new people a month for doctors on Eventbrite, which is free. Google Business, Chamber of Commerce, and sending out a press release. So just wrapping up here, I love the engagement again, appreciate all the questions, but I want to kind of help you walk away with a 12-month strategy. So again, we talked about that quarter, right? You're just going to think about this in 90-day chunks. Quarter 1, you're doing an event, webinar, or podcast. You're posting on social media. You're doing a monthly email newsletter. You're asking people for reviews, and you're just checking in on that Google business profile and making sure it's updated. Then the next quarter, you're doing the exact same thing. And truly, even if you think about it, a lot of these talks you do, you can have the same talk with a different theme around it, right? Like, I'm here talking about integrative medicine marketing. These tactics are applicable for gynecologists. I could stand up and do the same exact talk at a gynecologist talk, right? Same thing with you, right? It could be spring into wellness talk, and it could be undo your winter blues talk, and it's really the same topics. So don't get overwhelmed like, oh my gosh, I got to come up with all these different topics. But just a quarterly strategy, rinse and repeat those same things. The other thing, real quick, just want to remind you, what are the things that are going to move the needle quickest? So when you walk away today and you're thinking about next week, what are the things you can do that can generate appointments the fastest? It's these things in this first column. So regardless if you're only getting 10 leads a month right now or you're getting 30 leads a month, the majority of what you want to be focusing on, so 80% of your time in the first scenario here, needs to be doing these things: patient re-engagement campaigns, doing an event, doing your monthly newsletter. Direct mail, I didn't touch on today, but direct mail as an actual letter to your patients. Patients will open a letter from their doctor. Don't make a glossy that's going to get, in with all the election stuff that everybody's just throwing in the garbage. Send them an actual letter, and then optimizing the Google profile. These things will make the phone ring in 90 days or less. The other stuff you need to do, but what I talk to people, I'm like, what are you doing for your marketing? Oh, I'm paying this company to do my organic social media posts. That takes 18 to 24 months to actually produce a patient. But that's what people are spending their money on, because that's what they think they need to be doing, when these are the things that actually move the needle. So as we close things out, just want you to think of one or two things. Hopefully all of you, I know some of you guys are really advanced with marketing. I know you're really advanced in marketing, but hopefully there are one or two things that you can sort of think about that you can start to implement as soon as Monday. All right, so we've got the free gifts. You guys saw our Lady Doc marketing book. I do have all of your information. We have a integrative medicine book coming out in about the next 2 weeks. It will be on Amazon, but we'll get you a free copy since you were here. So that's one of the things we wanted to give. We are also pulling together our list of the top doctors for USA Today. That's going to be in March. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We're going to be in booth 24. We'll be here the whole rest of the day today. So come talk to us. We can tell you how to get featured in USA Today. And then I'm going to let Sherry just talk quickly about the couple of other things that we have. So.
Okay. So this is what we actually put together and launched this past year. It's called the Doctor Marketing Toolkit. So what we were seeing were a lot of doctors that didn't want to commit to outsourcing their marketing. They had somebody already internally that was doing it, but didn't really know how to. So they were, again, just posting on social media, but not really consistently, and didn't really know what the content to put out there. So Lori and I developed this platform, and you can see over on the right, once you access it, all these blocks pull up, and each one's clickable. You go in. Each one of these has tools, templates, guides, webinars. So it's basically the tools we use to train our staff. We're giving to you to train your staff to run your marketing internally. If you want a more cost-effective, you have someone in there that you think can handle it, platform for you. So we are offering this to everyone 1 month free, so you can try it out and see if you like it. The code is 1 month free. So when you check out, just put that code in. You'll get it for 1 month to try out. If you don't like it, just cancel it. No strings attached. If you like it, just keep going. We have doctors that really have enjoyed using it for their staff, even as a supplement to what we're doing. So that is just something that we were really excited about to launch this year. And then the next DIY platform we have is called the Dr. Social Whiz. This is a platform that integrates with your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Google, your TikTok, Yelp. And you go in, we have hundreds of libraries that you can pick from. So we have wellness, hormones, menopause. So we send you a list, check off the libraries you want to be added to. You get access to this platform. It's a drag and drop system, so you don't have to come up with the images or the content. You type in the side up there, if you I wish I had a little pointer. Just the drop-down menu, you pick the library you want, it pulls up all the posts in there. It's updated monthly, so you're not getting, just all these posts and then you're done. And then you drag and drop. So I have actually a 70-year-old client that does not know how to use social media at all. And she wanted to try it out. She's going on 6 months of using it, loves it. She posts on it every day. And I'll send analytics to them, and everything's just grown exponentially since they started doing that. So again, drag and drop, you can schedule a whole month in 10 minutes or less. You can also edit right in there or create your own posts. So it's just a really easy, integrative, simple, user-friendly platform. You can also respond to reviews in there. So in the review tab on the left, you'll see at the very bottom, if you can see, you click on that tab. It's going to populate all your reviews from Facebook, Google, and if you have Yelp integrated in there as well. There's an inbox, so if you drop in that inbox, it shows you all the reviews that have not been responded to. So on that, going back to Google a little bit, Google does reward you if you respond within 24 hours. So you want to be responding within 24 hours to your reviews, whether they're positive or negative. In the review section, we do have templates for negative or positive reviews, and they are HIPAA compliant reviews, responses, HIPAA compliant responses. So you don't have to come up with what you're going to say. We make sure it's safe and you're not going to get dinged. So you're not using their name, you're not mentioning their patient. So you can just click on it, it auto-populates into the response, you hit submit, and it converts it into the platform it came from. So it makes responding to reviews and scheduling your social media really easy. And again, we give 30-day free trial if you want to try it. So you would just schedule a call with me, I'd hop on with you, get you set up, show you how to use it. And then if you like it, you can continue. If not, you get 30 days free to try it out. So yeah, stop by and we can,
I think we're
Oh, are we
over
over?
time, so, anyways, thank you so much. I think we answered a lot of questions while you guys were there, and just have a great rest of your time in New York.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
thank you.